So this is what you do? Private Investigator Kenna Banbury glanced at the young man lying in the dirt beside her. She'd met him the day before at a diner in the next town. Usually there's no talking. She's down there. Luca started to get up. We need to go. Kenna grabbed his sleeve and pulled him back down. I say when we go. It's been too long. She's down there. Luca hissed the words, worry permeating his whisper. She shifted, prone on the dirt and grass at the top of the ridge. In front of her, moonlight glinted across the surface of the pond. Beyond the house, shed, and barns, mountains reached up to the stars. You won't be doing her any favors, charging in there without knowing what you're walking into. She needed him past the fear and strategizing instead. Tell me what all these buildings are. Luca had given her a rundown of this ranch when he'd explained who he was and how multiple families were kept as captives here. Migrant workers with no one to file a missing persons report. 2 years ago, the coyote Luca paid to get him across the border and into the U.S. handed him over to the man who ran this ranch. Luca's girlfriend, Camilla, had been brought in weeks later. They'd been together since. That's the house, Luca pointed. The middle one is the barn, where he has 5 horses. 3 of them are in bad shape, and a couple of ATVs. The next building is the bunkhouse. That's just what they call it. But we don't have rooms. Just the cellar underground where we're supposed to sleep. He'd already told her about the living conditions. The backed-up toilet, just a sink to wash up in, and bare mattresses on the floor to sleep on. His clothes were decently made, but worn. Jeans and old boots. A tattered shirt. She'd had him wash up in the bathroom of her motel room, but the grime on his hands and face seemed to have soaked into his skin, as though the life he lived permeated beneath the surface. Kenna didn't want to think if the same thing had happened to her, if the things she'd been through had seeped into her. She wasn't one of those people who projected a facade, but for the last few months, she'd had to contend with the silence. Cabot, the mutt she'd adopted, had undergone surgery and now lived with Kenna's former boss, or business associate. She didn't know what Stearns was to her. The loneliness of the past few months traveling alone had saturated everything. She had spent weeks looking for Maisie, waiting for something to show up on the website where someone, who she assumed was the teen girl she was looking for, had previously left her information. Nothing. Q, staying under the radar, waiting for the FBI to come up with a new lead when she had no movement on the case to identify a deadly organization that held entire towns in their grip and destroyed lives. Her friend Jax, an FBI agent, had his own life. Javier and Valentina Ryson had theirs. Kenna wasn't willing for whoever had tracked her and tried to destroy everything to decide they were going to target the people around her that she cared about. The Rysons had a baby. Jax had a career. At least Stearns, formerly a special agent in charge, had quit the FBI before he started helping her. Also, Stearns didn't care if or how a deadly organization decided to come at him. He relished the idea of it.